Hey guys, welcome back. I am so happy to finally be filming again. I know it's been a really long time since I have put out a video for you guys. I hope you are all doing well and enjoying the start of a new year. It's 2020. Wow. So yeah, this is my very first video of the year, and I am so happy. This is a project that I have been working on for about 15 months, and it's a big one. This is the biggest journal that I have ever made, ever. And this is a project that I was asked to do by a very close friend of mine, and to I'm honored that she asked me to do this for her. This is a book that's going to be used for many, many years, and it is something that I've never really done before, and so I've learned a lot along the way and tried new things. So I do have you guys up really high because, as you can see, this is an enormous book. And so if I need to get closer up, I will. My lighting's subpar as usual, so I'm sorry ahead of time. But since this is such a big book, you guys know with all of my concept journals and such, I usually do this video in parts. And because this was kind of a special make, I want to be able to go through most of the details so that the new owner of this book will be able to understand different things. So there's a lot to this, and I'll try to make these parts a decent amount of time. I don't want to bore you guys to death with one like 3 hour long video. So anyway, let's just get started. So a friend of mine asked me to make for her a spell and recipe book that she will be able to use for many years to come. As you know, I am not Wiccan or pagan or anything, but I do have friends that are, and yeah, so this was all new to me. I had a lot of things to learn. Spirituality is different for everyone. It's important to me, and it's also important to other people, but everybody, has their own thing. So, because this was new, I had to do a little bit of research and ask lots and lots of questions. So, thank you to those who helped me along the way. It means so much. And before I get into everything, I do want to say thank you to all of my crafty friends who have sent me items that were used in this project, because I did use quite a bit of really lovely things. And also I have used some parts of different digital kits, and as I go along I'll try to let you guys know what's what, but if I forget something, of course, I'll have everything listed down below. So this is a tome slash concept journal, and I did write like a small story to go along with this, so I won't get into too much detail, but if you would like, I'll just write the story down in the description box so that things are better explained. And before I open this up, I will show you quickly the charm that I made. You guys know I always make charms, especially for my larger journals. I really enjoy making these. There isn't an attachment on the book as of right now, but before she receives it, I'll have a way on there to attach this charm. So as usual, I've just got a ton of glass beads and really cool charms. Love this little bird skull one. It's one of my favorites. Lots of moons and circles, and I've also done some very amateur, like wire wrapping on gemstones and such. There's a lot of natural stones in this book on all the charms and stuff. Lots of flowers, and there's some dragonflies on here. This is a really cute like tarot card. And if I'm loud, you'll just have to turn the volume down because the microphone's way closer to my face now, so sorry about that. But a little tarot card charm. I think I got this at Tuesday Morning, but I've altered it. I've added some like micro beads and glossy accents, and then I took the back out and just added some like gold leaf and such. Here is a little vial with some really tiny seashells that I thought was cute, and just little random things. The spoon is like for measuring out recipes and potions and such. I just thought that was cute. This is actually a miniature tree Christmas ornament that I found at Hobby Lobby, and it's like deer antlers, but it's in the shape of a 5-pointed star, so I thought that was cool to add. There's some like more stones down here and just random things. You guys know how I really enjoy filling these charms up with lots of chunky, pretty goodness. So let's get into the project. So as I said, this is a spell and recipe tome. It's not a grimoire. It's not a book of shadows. It's just a place for her to keep spells and recipes. So for the actual book, I have made this cover out of strips of different materials. It's mostly muslins and linens, and they are coffee dyed and tea dyed. And I wanted to have a piece big enough, but one of her requests was that the book look as if it has been passed down for many generations. She wanted it to look old and used, and so I tried to just play off of that theme. It's a very simple pouch, just super huge. And then I've stuck this little broom in here because I don't know what to do with it yet, but whatever. I used the center of a vintage doily to kind of just add a little bit to the front, and then this is actually something that I printed out, and if I'm not mistaken, this is from Digital Curio, but I painted over it with some gold paint. This is paper, and then I've inked it up with some different distress inks. And this brooch is a vintage brooch, and I thought it was awesome because, I mean, it's either an M or a W, but her last name starts with a W, so I thought it was perfect. And this also ties into the story, which I'll get into in just a moment. So, very simple. There's no like Velcro or anything. It just folds over the book, but it's a way for her to keep it, protected, and also she's going to be carrying this around with her a lot, so, and it's massive, so I wanted her to have something that she could put the book inside of. So before we jump into the book, there's a couple of things I want to show you. Okay, so one, this is the young lady witch from our story. This tag will be in the very first pocket page of the book, which I'll show you, but a couple of my friends want me to scan it for them, so I need to do that first. This is a Prima stamp that I just used colored pencils on and a little bit of gold paint. She turned out rather cute, I think. Let's get some focusing here, sorry. So yeah, I'll decorate this tag up with her. She is the main character of the story, if you will. So let me, so basically the story, the concept of this journal, there's a young witch, all of her family are passed away and gone. She lived with her great aunt, who then passed away. So in her grief, she grabs some of her most precious possessions, and she leaves home, and she goes into this, this is a magical world, so just bear with me, use your, imagination here, but she travels through and into this dark, deep, very expansive, magical wood, where she finds like an abandoned lodge, and she makes it her home. She discovers herself, she meets other witches and other creatures, and through the years, she's just here in this magical wood, discovering herself and, doing her witchy thing. I guess. So I did tie into that a little bit within this book, but I didn't go too extensively. So One thing I did want to touch on, because it's pretty important to the story, is the fact that she brought her most prized possessions with her. So these possessions are the few family photos that she has, her favorite crystals, her aunt's wand, her mother's brooch. Okay, so this is going to be representative of her mother's brooch. And her grandfather's watch. She brought with her some dried herbs and her family tome of spells, which I guess the book itself can represent. So this little thingy here is actually like, I found these pamphlets on clearance at Walmart, I believe, and they dye fantastically, so I wanted to kind of play around with it. So I've just got some hand-dyed sari silk here, and then this little miniature charm, if you will. So there's a tag on it that says family, and on the back is the letter A, and that stands for Autumn, which is the family's last name. There is a key here, which could be a key to her new home, or it could be a key to her aunt's home. And then there is a little Tim Holtz little tag here that says travel. And then this is to represent her grandfather's pocket watch. So it's so pretty. It's just a locket. But if you open it up, I've added a little, let's get some focusing. Sorry. I've added a little image of a watch and a little hand here that turns. And this is old, very, very old, so it only has one hand left. But inside, since it's sort of like a locket, there's a little tag here that says Traveler. There is this little piece of random ephemera that I had, something I found, but I thought that it was cool because it's circles, which are an important symbol to their religion or spirituality, if you will. And also there's 3, which is an important number. There is this very old and very tattered itty-bitty photo of her grandfather. And I've just aged this up. And then wrapped in this cheesecloth, and I don't know why I did it, I just thought it looked cute, there is a coin. And I'm assuming it was just her grandfather's lucky coin or something. So it's just a little coin charm. And then I just wrapped it up in the cheesecloth because it's something important. And so that all goes into this pocket watch that would have been her grandfather's watch, and it was beloved. It was passed down in the family, so he carried it around with him everywhere. Alright, so let's get into the family really quick. Like I said, this is one of those like brochure pamphlets. I've been doing a lot of laminating pressed flowers, and I've added the word autumn here, and then I stitched this feather. It looks crazy, but it is what it is. So you open it up, and this is like the first page here. I've used some Latin words, and most of these are really rough translations. You guys, it's been a very long time since I have taken Latin. But if you know anything about it, you can translate it in different ways. But numquam obliviscar basically just means never forget. Okay, so there is in this Tim Holtz like little pocket thing. I'm having trouble with focusing here today. This just basically means remember the past. It's just a little altered ticket. And then this is the back of one of those Tim Holtz photos, but it's really cool paper, so I want to throw that in there in case she wants to jot down a little note. There is this playing card here that I got from Priscilla. Thank you, girl. Really cool deck. The number 13. It just looks really cool, so I inked it up a little bit and put it in there. And she can do with that whatever she likes. And then in this pocket here, in this paper that I've aged, this is actually a vintage book page, leaf page. I've written down in Latin a very rough translation of of like her family phrase, motto, saying. This is a very rough translation, but basically it means trust in virtue, keep your secrets close to you, give in to your sight, your memories are always with you, fate is waiting, do not forget the ways, the bonds, the words of our fathers, only family will do. So I've just kind of written that out in a weird handwriting. That's not really, I tried to disguise my handwriting when I do stuff like this, but I don't know how well I do that. But basically, it's just like a little area that is representative of the character, her family. So inside is just an array of the only photos that she has. So this pocket is mother and father. And then I've used some Tim Holtz photographs and others from digital kits, and then also some real vintage photographs like this one. So this is her father, and I've given them all names. And this is her mother. And her parents, like I said, have been passed away for a while. This is just one of those little Rolodex card pockets that I made, and it's just extra paper inside, and she can just add a little something in here. This actually translates to roughly to like funeral song or funeral singing, so I thought it was appropriate to put it with her parents, and you know, she can put something special in there. So here we have her paternal side, just a little tag here. And then this will be her great-great-grandfather here. And like I said, I have used some photos from digital kits and such. And then I had this really neat, this is another vintage photograph of a woman and a young child. And so this I just turned into, this is her and her grandmother when she was 5 years old. And of course I've aged it up. I had to add some tape because it will fall apart at the crease. And then this side is her maternal side. So I've got another little altered little playing card here she can write something on. This is her Great Aunt Delphine. This is who she lived with until she passed away. And then this is her mother's sister. I love this image here. Okay, so that's just basically a little insight to the story that goes with this. And a little thing here that says the family, and on the back just a little label so she can write on the back if she wishes. And that goes along with the book. And then this is an extra little thing. I have this really cool hairpin. I think I got these from Joann's ages ago, but it's super cute and it fits in here. So I made this little sort of holder for her extra spell and recipe cards. So these are just extra, like I said, they're going to be blank. So in the top is spell cards. So I've got these printouts from Digital Curio, which are really awesome. And then I have just altered these a little bit. I sprayed them with all kinds of inks and distress oxides and such. So then she can further alter them if she wishes. But that way she has plenty of extra cards to use. And then these are extra recipe cards. Oop. So more of the Digital Curio stuff. And then some of these, well, most of them I have inked and sprayed and altered. And then there's also plenty of plain blank ones in here so she can play with those and do whatever she likes. I know she likes to draw in her grimoire and stuff, and she's extremely talented artist. And she's also a journal maker, so she'll be able to take things out and modify this enormous giant book as she sees fit or as she needs to. So the pen just kind of stuck it in here to make it look pretty because it's kind of plain. I just inked all over this muslin. And so that's that. That's the extra stuff and the story. So let's get into this book.